Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV. It is Monday review time. Sitting down this evening to take a look back at Saturday's, you guessed it, draw. A 0-0 stalemate at the Pirelli Stadium as we took on Burton Albion. Game that we should have won. Looking at the stats, listening to the interviews afterwards, looking at the highlights. Played the last 25 minutes of the game against 10 men. Pretty much laid siege to their goal, but once again, frustratingly, we ultimately failed to put the ball in the back of the net and could not turn a solitary point into 3 points and a win. Looking at the statistics, like I say, we had 17 shots in total, but only 3 on target. So, same problems persist, regardless of whether that's Mika Mandron, Alex Jakubiak, Brandon Hanlon. It's now Jordan Roberts and John Akindi. We had 6 off target and 8 blocked. So, did we actually get in behind enough, or was we taking pot shots from the edge of the box? Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating again. I say it's not a bad draw considering their form at the Pirelli, and I think if you'd been offered that before the game, you'd have taken it. But the fact that we've gone there and we've outplayed them for parts again means it's a case of potentially 2 points dropped rather than just 1 gained. And we keep talking about a playoff charge. We have to start turning these away draws into wins if we want to have any kind of hope of getting into the top 6, because I know the old adage is that if you draw your away games and win your home games, then you'll be there or thereabouts, but it's leaving us very little margin for error at the moment. And as I say, John Akindi has come into the team since arriving from Lincoln City. What's he played now? 3 games, Rochdale away, Shrewsbury at home and Burton away. And you'd say that Saturday would his 2 best chances to open his account for the club. First half, the ball gets played out to the right-hand side via deflections and it's stood up to him and he's middle of the goal, 8 yards out. Just has to get a good connection on it and hit the target, and he's got a great chance of scoring, but he sort of scissor kicks the back of his own leg and the ball goes back to where it's come from, to the crosser. I think it might have been Ben Pringle who stood it up to him. And then second half, he's not done a great deal wrong, but he could have maybe headed it into the floor. Ball that was played in from the left. I think it was Conor Ogilvie whipped it in with his right foot. Big John hits the target, which is all you ask for. But if we're being critical, maybe if he heads it down, gives the keeper less chance. Especially considering if this was another striker of ours, he'd probably get battered by our fan base on social media. And I think you know who I'm talking about. I won't even have to mention his name. But yeah, for me, I think Big John would be disappointed that he's not put at least one of them chances away, and then it's a very different performance and a very different result, isn't it? And the gap would have then been cut to the top 6 down to 6 points, back within striking distance. As it is, it stays at 8. So it wasn't a disaster of a weekend. And again, it's on the whole, it's a good performance. But we do need to start winning on the road, and I think it needs to come sooner rather than later, this next away win. Otherwise, it could become a mental block. Maybe it already is a mental block, and this is the reason that despite being very hard to beat and having only lost 3 away games all season, we have still only won 1. So it's a weird, messed up statistic in the fact that I think we've got the 2nd best defensive record on the road, but one of the worst in terms of picking up victories. So yeah, a little bit frustrating, but like I say, by no means a disaster. Considering the form that they were in prior to the fixture. One player that did come on and did have a positive impact is this man. That is deadline day signing Jordan Graham. Made his first cameo appearance for us from the bench at the weekend. He came on after about 65 minutes for Matty Willock, who had played well but was cramping up. Understandable considering how much football he's missed. But yeah, Jordan had a really positive impact on the game. Got himself into some good areas and caused problems to their back 4 in the time that he was on the pitch. And like I say, it was only 24 minutes. He had a 100% pass ratio in that time. I think it was 9 completed passes, 21 touches, 100% dribble success rate. Put in 2 accurate crosses as well. So all the talk that Steve Evans met his arrival with in terms of his natural wide player, good technician, is a good crosser, can get good delivery into dangerous areas. He showed that straight away. So I think in that sense, it's a really positive signing. Whether he's going to start regularly straight away, because we do like to play a narrow diamond, remains to be seen. But it could be a case that maybe Steve's been looking at different systems in training, and we may implement the 4-2-3-1/4-3-3 on a more regular basis over the next 15 games. But yeah, all in all, Jordan Graham, really positive impact from the bench. Unlucky not to set up a winner, and fingers crossed he can continue to grow and put in good performances between now and the end of the campaign. But as I do mention, we do have a game coming up. No real rest time, recuperation time. It's a short turnaround from Saturday. We have travelled up north today, I believe. The team went up on the coach about lunchtime, ready for tomorrow's fixture up north against these. That is Simon Grayson's Blackpool. Yeah, 2-2 draw in the previous fixture, the reverse fixture back in the summer. Gilles led 2-0 through Alex Jakubiak double, but unfortunately were pegged back just before half time, and despite laying siege to the Blackpool goal, second half just couldn't find a winner. Story of our season. But yeah, it was a decent performance at the Priestfield back in August, and one that I missed, unfortunately. I was on holiday. But in terms of form, looking at the last 6, Gilles have 5 draws and a single win, so 8 points from 18 available in League One. And last 6 for Blackpool, they won their last game. That was Saturday against Southend, relegation haunted Southend. Aside from that, it was 1 draw and 4 defeats in the middle. So they've only taken 4 from the last 6 games, last 18 available. As I say, that solitary victory was Saturday against Southend, and it wasn't a game that Blackpool bossed. I've just looked at the Sky Sports report. It says it was a routine win, and then you look at the statistics, and I think Southend had about 46-47% ball, 14 shots, more shots on target than the home side. So maybe not as straightforward as we're led to believe, but it'll do their confidence no end of good after such a horrible run. In terms of home and away, they're very good on the whole. At Bloomfield Road, they've won 4 and lost 2 of their last 6. That's 12 points from 18 available. Gilles have taken 5 from 18 on their travels. That was a solitary defeat at Wimbledon back end of November, and since then it's been 5 draws on the spin. That was their first win in 8 in League One, Blackpool. So, like I said, they've been on a really poor run up until last Saturday. We're unbeaten in 11. It's the longest unbeaten run in the EFL. The only trouble is we've struggled to convert draws into wins, winning just the 4 and coming out with just a point in 7 of them fixtures. So again, it alludes to that point I've made, that if we do have serious aspirations of trying to gate crash the top 6, we really need to start winning more, especially away from home, and turning them draws into maximum points. Top scorer, Armand Nondoule, or Douye, I can never pronounce it properly. He was at the double at the weekend to see off Sol Campbell's boys, and yeah, just sees him run back into form, because prior to that he was only 1 in 8 in League One after a really good first half of the season. So from their point of view, it's good to see their top scorer back in amongst the goals. He'll be a threat, we know that. He's a good player at this level. I think he's enjoying his most fruitful scoring season, so they have to keep an eye on him. In terms of ourselves though, team news is pretty much the same as it was for Saturday. No Mark Burton, we know he's out for the rest of the season. Alfie Jones and Stuart O'Keefe have both travelled up, and Steve Evans has said that they'll be assessed prior to the game and in training today, I assume, or tomorrow morning. So in terms of a team, I'm going to go with probably the same starting 11 if everybody is available. I know Matty Willett came off at the weekend, but it was only cramp. He's one that I'd maybe be inclined to have a look at starting from the bench, just on the fact that he's not played a lot of football, but seemed that it was a really positive hour for him. He was very good in the second half against Shrewsbury when he came on a week 10 days ago at home. So I think if we can just keep getting minutes into his legs, maybe get him another hour, it's only going to benefit him in the long run. And yeah, and hopefully with increased minutes comes increased levels of performance. So yeah, my team would be Jack Bonham, Barry Fuller, Max Amar, Jack Tucker, Connor Ogilvie. Stick with Thomas O'Connor at the base of the diamond. Seems like he's done all right there. Ben Pringle from the left, Matty Willett from the right, and Ollie Lee in the number 10 behind Jordan Roberts and John Akinde. So my bench would be Joe Walsh, Alfie Jones, Stuart O'Keefe, Jordan Graham, Regan Charles Cook, Mika Mandron and Brandon Hanlon. Right, score prediction time. we have to surely turn one of these draws into a win eventually, don't we? Surely the law of average says that. Yes, they were buoyed by a win over Southend at the weekend, but most teams have beaten Southend this season. There are signs of life, but I still think Sol Campbell's men are getting relegated. Ultimately, they don't have a good enough squad. They don't have a big enough squad. And Blackpool still struggle to see them off. So if we can go up there and defend properly like we generally do, all we need to do then is, if we keep a clean sheet, is stick one chance away. And I'm going to back us to do that tomorrow night. So I'm going to go for a final score of Blackpool 0, Gillingham 1. John Akindi is going to get off the mark tomorrow night with a towering header, second half. Right, that is enough from me this evening though. I will let you all go and enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. Be back Thursday to talk about tomorrow night's game, have a review of that, and then we'll be looking ahead to Saturday's massive home fixture against Doncaster. Fingers crossed we're talking about that with another 3 points on the board, and hopefully we'll be a little bit closer to the top 6. Right, you know where I am, you know where we are. Go and check out the Gills in the Blood Injury Time podcast if you've not listened to the most recent one. We were talking all things controversial. It was unpopular Gills opinions for that one. Had a really good time recording that with Stocky and Boz and Rachel. So go and check it out. We are available on iTunes and plenty of other podcast formats. But yeah, like I say, be back Thursday for another chat. And until then, up the Gills.